Today, I will use Predator software as an example. However, please note the incoming file manager is capable of working with any DNC system, but due to limited time today, I'm only going to show it to you with the Predator DNC. For the people attending webinar using a different system, please let me know, and we can schedule a private demo specifically with your system to show the incoming file manager working with it. Now, the goal for today is to give you an idea about the next-gen tools that are available to modernize your DNC system. We've called them DNC plugins. This presentation will be repeated 4 times over the course of half an hour, as we're expecting people to come and go at different times. Now, with that being said, I would like to again thank everybody for their time, and let's get started. So just a little bit of background information on how I'm going to be demonstrating this today. What I have set up currently is a Moxa U-port serial hub. I have COM1 simulating the, I have COM1 as the DNC connection, and COM16 simulating the CNC control using hyperterm. And as you can see here on my screen, the connection is looped back to each other, giving me the chance to communicate internally. Now, as you can see here, on my screen to the left, we have hyperterm set up, as mentioned, simulating again the CNC control. And on the right, we have the Predator DNC system. What we're going to do is go through the process of, let's say, for example, an operator is at the machine, he makes a change to the program, wants to send it in for the final approval. So, on the left, again, hyperterm, simulating the CNC control. We're going to browse to this file that's being sent out from the CNC machine. You can see it goes out. Predator's over here processing it. And of course, as we know through Predator now, what we need to do is we need to search through the File Explorer. And I know some of you most likely have it set up as a shortcut, but we're going to go through the File Explorer and make sure that we can double check that that program was received. Now, as you can see here under my C drive, we have a Fusion folder set up with an archive, DNC incoming, event logs, machines, and our NC programs. This is, again, for demo purposes. We're going to go to the machines. Now, as you can see here, this is MIL77, so that's the correct machine. And there's the program that just came in. So what we're going to do now is launch our typical compare system with the Predator CNC editor. So we go here, we of course click the Predator CNC editor. As it's launching, now here's the program being displayed, again received from the CNC machine with the changes that were made. So let's run a quick compare through Predator. We have to go through File, Compare. Now, fortunately, brought us right to our NC programs, which is excellent. What's even better is they were prepared and even put in the part number for us. So it's very, very simple for us to find that original program. Now, I've run into situations where it's not that easy. And unfortunately, people are spending a couple of minutes really going through their File Explorer trying to find that original program. Again, fortunately, today we are prepared. So we're going to launch this compare. Again, as you can see on the left, we have the program that was received from the machine. On the right is the original. Now, as we run the compare, let's see any changes made. And as you can see, feed rate was changed. Again, left is the new program, right is the original. So what do we want to do with this? Well, I'm giving it my approval, so I want to make this incoming file the new production version. So going through that process, we are going to save as, and we're going to go back to Fusion, NC programs, MIL, and wait a minute. This program is still here. And what should I do with that? Now, I'm not going to save it. Again, this is all for demo purposes. I'm sure everybody has their own methods of doing this. But as you can see, just going through this, there are various steps to finally get to this point of, okay, taking that program that was just received and making it the production version. So essentially what I would do is most likely take this file, put it into an old archive, maybe either give it the same name, or of course I can change it to maybe Rev B, and then of course insert that as a comment in the program anyways. Now, let's take that same process of receiving a program and comparing it, but let's do it through the Fusion Incoming File Manager. So we're going to close out of the CNC editor. I'm going to make sure we delete this from that folder. What I'm doing now is I'm actually starting the Fusion service. Now, Fusion uses a background service that's always running, of course, unless you stop it. And what it does is it's actually constantly watching specified folders that I've set up and are pointing to. This does it so that we ensure when a program is received, Fusion automatically grabs it and says, hey, that's mine. Again, why the service is so necessary. So, again, all communications is happening through Predator, so we're going to keep that open, of course. We are going to send a text file. And actually, excuse me, before we do that, we're going to launch Fusion. Now, for those that haven't seen Fusion yet, Fusion is our homegrown DNC and PDO. However, there are certain features of it that can be used specifically to enhance existing DNC systems. One of them being displayed now, the Incoming File Manager. Now, what we're going to do is head over to the Program Navigator, and as you can see, I have my database populated, again, for test programs, but they are there. Now, I want to start fresh, and I want to show you guys how we get to the point of receiving a program and able to match it. We're going to remove all of these. Only 11 programs, takes 2 seconds, but we're going to make sure they're all gone. We're going to start with a fresh Fusion database. What Fusion uses are called reference IDs and DNC IDs. So when we first get Fusion installed, what we want to do is we want to go to the NC programs mill, and we want to actually point Fusion's database to those programs. What this also does when we do the import, as we call it, it actually automatically inserts the reference IDs and remote request IDs into the files. So let's do that right now. Of course, we always want to make sure you back up your files just in case. You never know, so this message does always pop up for you. Great, and now we've got a blank populated database. We have, all of our reference IDs, again, unique to each program. It's very, very, very important. So let's go back to the Incoming File Manager. We are going to send this program in because they are ready for it. Let's do a refresh here. And as you can see, Fusion was actually able to match that incoming file with the original file, again, based on that reference ID right there. As you can see, reference ID found in file is 000010. We have the temporary file name, the date and time that it was received, as well as the originating machine. Now, as you recall, a few minutes ago, we went through the process of launching a compare with the Predator CNC editor. When launching a compare with the Fusion Incoming File Manager, we've taken those steps and actually consolidate it into one click. Here we have compare incoming to selected program. Left, incoming file, as you can see displayed here. On the right, possible control program match, which is what it's saying is I found this reference ID and here's what I match it with. Let's do a compare. And just like that, with one click, we have, again, on the left, the incoming file compared to the original file in our File Explorer in the Fusion database, and highlighting each of those changes that were made. As you can see here, the most critical change was this feed rate change. Now, what I want to do is I want to document this change. I want to make sure that this new program is now, number one, the production program. Number two, we archive this original program. And number three, and maybe the most important part, is I want to make sure that people are aware that this program received has been approved for this feed rate change, and it is on revision B. And I'm going to show you how we do that. So let's exit out of this compare. And again, I approve this feed rate change. So what we're going to do is we're going to overwrite the control program. What you see here is the path of the incoming file, where it'll actually be going, and also an archive path. Now, this Fusion archive is automatically done for you whenever you overwrite that control program. it essentially takes the original and plops it in an archive folder for you. On top of that, it also adds a date and timestamp that's available for you to view when exactly that program was put in there. So great, we're going to overwrite it. Now this edit program screen launches up. This is where you can really get into the details of what you're doing. Essentially, you have, okay, we're going to say this is provision B. Of course, belongs to the nil group, and we're going to add a note. As you can see, when I clicked add a note, it automatically put in who's the note by, the admin, the date and the time that that note was created. So we're going to adjusted feed rate, save. We're going to update the entry now. So as you can see, the file is now gone from the incoming file manager. Let's head over to the program navigator. We take a look at that file. Not only is the new file now in there, we have the revision, the time it was last modified, and all the notes that were associated with that file. Who created the note, at what time they created the note, and all the details that are necessary. Going back to the incoming file manager here, just some miscellaneous final thoughts here as we wrap up the first session of our mini webinar series. We have the incoming file manager and email/text messaging notifications. Now what that means is when a program is received from the machine and is plopped into the incoming file manager, we're actually able to shoot out an email or a text notification, maybe your head programmer, letting them know that, hey, program A just came in from machine B at this time on this date. That is very easy to set up and has been a very useful tool for many of the people that I've worked with. One final thought here, we have reports. Now, again, the communication's all done through the Predator system, of course, but what we are able to track is when a program was received from a machine. That machine name involved, the date, the time. We even have the path of where it was, as well as the last modified date and time. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for your time. We're going to take a very short break before starting the next series. And again, my name is David Soto with Nexus America. We look forward to talking with you soon. Thank you very, very much.